everyone, and welcome to exclusive release Reputation's 2022 Auto Report Dealership Rankings and Latest Trends. This automotive news webinar is brought to you by Reputation. We're delighted you're with us for this presentation. I'm Emma Hancock, host, strategist, and moderator at Automotive News. Before I introduce our speakers today, a navigation tip. We encourage you to ask questions at any time. Just type them into the Q&A box on the left side of the webinar window and hit send. I will steer your questions to our speakers toward the end of the session. Today's speakers are Molly Blanco, Director of Marketing at Reputation, and Ashley Dias, Senior Customer Marketing Manager at AutoNation Inc. Prior to Reputation, Molly ran the digital, social, and reputation programs at AutoNation for over 5 years. Ashley is an Automotive News 40 Under 40 honoree and runs the Reputation program on behalf of AutoNation. Recently named Reputation's #1 public dealer group, and now I'll turn it over to Molly and Ashley to get us started.
All right, let's dive in. We are so pleased to be here with all of our live attendees, as well as people who are going to be watching this on demand later. And thank you, Automotive News, for having us on today. So yes, Ashley and I actually used to work together. Our time at AutoNation overlapped, and it's just been really fun to see how she has really taken the Reputation program at AutoNation to a whole other level. Since I have moved over to the vendor side. So Ashley will be sharing some of her key tips and tricks throughout our conversation today. And Ashley, feel free to jump in if I miss anything along the way. So without further ado, all right, so Reputation's automotive report just launched. So this is hot off the press, and we are so excited to be sharing this with you and the Automotive News group here. So if you're not familiar with Reputation's automotive report, this is our annual flagship report that provides new insights and new standards to the consumer experience so that brands or OEMs and dealer groups and dealerships know where you stand amongst your competitors. So there's really two primary components of all of our automotive reports that I want to draw your attention to. The first part is really just jam-packed with sentiment analysis. And what I mean by that is just this is where we dish about what people are saying about you, your competitors, what they're looking for in terms of their expectations as part of their buying journey. And we're compiling all of that data through public reviews, social comments, and even consumer survey feedback. So we pull all that together, and that's really makes up the first part of the report. The second part of the report is typically the most anticipated, and that's where we go through all of our rankings really globally. So North America all the way over to Europe and beyond. And so we will be covering both of those components in a very high-level highlight reel, if you will, throughout today's presentation. All right, so a couple key takeaways. So hopefully when this conversation is done, we hope that you're able to take some actionable insights back to your organization, mostly with regards to how you can increase your reputation score. And if you don't know what that is, we'll dive into that a little bit. How to turn that negative sentiment into growth opportunities. And then just general tips for running or participating in a best-in-class reputation program. All right, so we have it pulled for you. So we'll kick things off. With regards to reputation score, I want to know how many people are familiar with the reputation score. So let's go ahead and get that launched. We'll give it a few minutes, a few seconds. Let's see. Are we getting? All right. Okay, interesting. All right, so let's get that. I don't know if we've shared it to the audience yet. So majority of you are familiar with the reputation score, which there is no right or wrong answer. So the second poll question is, of those people who are familiar with the reputation score, what are some of the data points that go into it? So is it review volume, Google listings accuracy, social engagement, or all the above? Oh my gosh. Looks like we have some ringers here. Yes, all of the above is the correct answer. There's actually many more barometers that go into the reputation score. So we'll just very quickly kind of highlight it. But generally speaking, reputation score is the only metric that really goes beyond your ratings and reviews. It gives you a very detailed view about what people say, feel, and think about not only a dealership, but just any business in general. And we've found that dealers who are able to increase their reputation score typically see a lift or a correlation in their sales volume. So Ashley, I did want to quickly have you chime in here because I know how important the reputation score is to AutoNation. How often are you looking at the reputation score on a regular basis?
So this is, don't judge me, guys. I look at it far too often, maybe multiple times a day. It's probably one of the first things I look at when I get up. And I think that's good. I think you should look at it often and look at it for different reasons. So I'm guilty. My answer is too much.
Too much. That is a great answer. Okay, so when we think about reputation score as it relates to higher sales, this is a study we've performed for many major OEMs, and with the correlation, it really ties improvements on that reputation score to about an 8% increase in sales volume, and that's really we've even been able to pinpoint it to the number of points increase. So reputation score increases by 150 points, you're going to see a lift in sales. And when you think about it, you are probably creating a really great experience that's driving, you're able to acquire new customers, because when people are going to Google or they've found that Ford Explorer and they're like, which Ford dealership am I going to go to? They're going to be looking at that at your reputation. So super, super critical. And I thought this was another interesting data point here as it relates to Google business profiles. You know, the higher your rep score, the more visible you are going to be on Google, and more people are going to see you and they're going to take more action. So it's pretty common sense, but just wanted to tie out some of those specific stats. And I got some more stats for you. And I feel like these are stats that, if you're in the automotive business, you have probably come across this multiple times, a year, a week, a month, a day. And we start to see these percentages tick up every year or so. We know that people are reading reviews before they decide which dealership they're going to go to. Dealer reputation is table stakes now. It's non-negotiable. You've got to do it. So I won't read every single one of these stats, but just remember that this is important and this matters because consumer feedback is what's driving that customer acquisition, that retention, that revenue. In the automotive industry, that's what you need all the way from the sales floor to the service lane. Reviews and surveys and social media conversations create this like infinite loop of feedback that fuels all of that customer acquisition, the conversions and that revenue. And you're constantly seeing that ebb and flow throughout your entire buying journey cycle. So I have been doing lot of freaking talking. So I'm going to turn this over to Ashley, who has some really great tips and tricks for our audience today. So Ashley, do you want to take everyone through your recommendations?
Yeah, sure. So I just want to share some of my keys to success with you guys when it comes to reputation and reputation management. So let's talk about beyond responding to reviews. We all know that, or don't know, responding to review, and that means when someone leaves a review, respond to it saying, I'm sorry for your experience. We know that's good, helps your review, helps your reputation score, but that's not cutting it these days. That's like bare minimum. You got to do more than that. Reaching out to the customers, finding out what the issue is. Sometimes customers want to be heard. Sometimes it's about finding out the root cause of the issue, fixing the issue, correcting it. Maybe you finding out that there is something going on with the organization and you can fix it for future reviews. You can't just fix the issue one time and hope that, blah, blah, we respond to the review. It is what it is.
Yeah, I love this one, Ashley. And I would just, I wanted to also call out, because this is something that I remember happening more frequently than I had anticipated, is that when that negative review and that response goes into play, and that maybe that GM will call, they know who that person is, and they go ahead and they give them a call, and they're able to kind of understand what happens. The customer feels heard, and the GM is actually able to like turn that experience around.
Yep.
How often do you see those reviews, those negative reviews, get updated?
Oh, almost all the time. They will edit the review and that 1 star becomes a 5-star. Just them being heard and saying the GM actually heard me, and they will edit that review. And people will come back to the dealership and they will see the reviews and read those reviews and see like, oh my God, this GM in this store actually cares. It means a lot to the customer, and it means a lot to potential customers to see that. Next, SMS review requests are the future. We all know email this, email that. I have so many email addresses. I have my work email, my personal email, my spam emails. I sign up to get free birthday gifts. You guys probably have multiple emails, but when it comes to SMS, which everybody gets text and everybody loves text, that's now the main way of communicating for consumers. That's now a good way for you guys to solicit for reviews. It's more personal. If you know right then and there if a customer is having a great experience. I'm not sure from an email if the customer had a good or bad experience. I have no idea. We're just sending an email out. That person could have had a horrible experience. I'm sending them an email, but right there, you're having a great time with the customer. You just found them their dream car. You just had a whole conversation with them about House of the Dragon. You guys were just talking about the show. Why not ask them for a review? You're more likely to have a great conversion and most likely to get that 5-star review from them. Next, checking your listings are key. I'm not talking about once a year. I'm not talking about twice a year. I'm talking about at minimum once a month. And guys, I know a lot of people are like, oh no, Ashley, you're giving me more work, but I promise you guys, you're going to thank me. Google and Bing love to change listings on you guys. They love it. They love it. I'll give an example, especially for AutoNation, that happened to us not too long ago. Google's AI decided to change our own listings on us, or the name of our business. I'll give an example. One of our dealerships' names, AutoNation Chevrolet Doral. It decided that the name should be AutoNation Chevrolet at Doral. It thought it knew its business better than us. But checking our listings and making sure that it was right, we wouldn't have caught that. But Google was making those changes for us when it shouldn't have. So making sure you're routinely checking your listings. And this is how customers are finding you. So it's not just for your reputation score, it's also how people are finding your business. Next is education and team recognition. So whether you're an expert at reputation or you're just a novice, getting your feet wet, your feet a little dirty in the game, or you're new, this is your first time with reputation. One thing is true, it's evolving, it's growing, it's new. So as much as I'm learning about reputation, I try to make sure that the associates at AutoNation are learning with me. So getting tools and resources easily available for employees is important, whether it's webinars and training, it's guidebooks, resources that are easy. And sometimes that's figuring out what works for different employees. Everything is not going to work for everyone. So that's what you have to figure out. And with team recognition, that's all about the momentum. You got to keep that bus chugging along, keeping it moving. So is it showcasing and recognizing those top reviews? Reviews are a great way. Showcase those reviews of the month. Right there, reviews are showcasing your employees. They're telling you right there which employees are giving the best customer experience for somebody. Rachel just gave the best service experience. Someone came in completely in shambles because they had no idea what they were going to do about their car. Their car was making this weird noise. I don't know what that noise was, but Rachel, a service advisor, helped them out, got them back on the road safely. Why not give Rachel an award for the month? Why not keep her moving, keep that momentum going? You help and recognize your employees. I promise you that customer experience is going to show, and you're going to get better positive reviews, better customer experience, and you're going to keep those 5-star reviews going. So these are just some of my keys to success. So hopefully you guys can keep some of yours going as well and continue your reputation journey.
Oh, those are so good, Ashley. And I would just also say, like, I know how overwhelming parts of this can be, especially when it comes to Google and listings and keeping up with the algorithm. And I know that it's a daunting task, but that's what I really loved about Reputation, is that they have, managed services, they have capabilities that we kind of take that heavy lifting off of you. I'm not going to make this a sales pitch, but just so you know that, like, think of us as a partner as you're going through these, different areas where you're like, I don't know this much about it, but I want to make sure I know that this is super important, that we have solutions in place. Okay, so let's get into the sentiment analysis. Let's get into the dish. What are people saying about it? So what are car shoppers and customers saying about the auto industry at a time where we've seen so much macroeconomic change over the last couple of years? So our Reputation data science team, who is amazing, they do all of these amazing findings and data polls. They examined 5 million reviews of all of these dealerships. And we applied our own data analysis methodology, which uses a lot of natural language processing to detect patterns in the comments. And really, the long and short of it is, the strengths and weaknesses are important to look at, because that's really what can give you and your dealership and your organization a roadmap for improvement. So strengths and weaknesses are obviously going to vary by dealership. But we want to use this as a way to kind of as a guidepost for you. I know that at the end of the call, one of my colleagues is going to offer, if you want to have a data science analysis, that I have an email address that we can hopefully share in the chat. So you can definitely feel free to reach out to him for that. But let's go ahead and get into, let's start with the positive. We'll do the strengths first. All right. So congratulations, customer service, sales experience, and staff are all big winners in this latest report, which is so great to see. I just think about how far the automotive industry has come in just really listening to what consumers are saying. So positive reviews, mention salespeople in particular by name. So what Ashley was saying, like, they're talking about particular salespeople. This is a great opportunity to recognize them, talk about it in your weekly staff meetings, talk about the positive reviews, review the negatives, learn from what people are saying about your particular dealership. People are loving that, the attention to detail from staff, their commitment to helping a customer find the right car that fits their personal needs. In addition, our consumer survey that we sent out also showed that about 50% of respondents found that professionalism of the staff to be an important factor when selecting a dealership. And the most positive reviews about service emphasize the quality of service throughout the entire their entire buying process. So that is really good to see that it seems like that buying journey's becoming less frictionless, which is good. And we also noticed that words like easy and friendly were appearing really frequently in the positive reviews. And really just remember that purchasing a car still remains a highly emotional decision, especially as prices are surging. So we want to make sure that dealerships are making it as easy as possible and friendly, and do it with a smile, because it's a big investment for our consumers today. All right, so let's, I don't like the word weakness. So let's just use this as a growth opportunity, if you will. Okay, so ratings and reviews revealed that dealerships have an opportunity to improve just general customer expectations as it relates to pricing, service lane, like wait times, delays in parts. Like, people watch the news. They know what's going, they understand that, cars are more expensive than ever. They're not complaining about the price of the car in particular. In their reviews, they're really emphasizing that they had surprise costs that were not explained to them, or it was just kind of an extra cost that they weren't anticipating paying. That's what they're getting really upset about. Long wait times to get service, as well as inadequate repair, factored into the criticism. And again, this is like, we know that we're seeing like staff shortages, and there's just things that are a little bit out of our control. So again, managing those customer expectations is probably the best advice that I can give you. And actually, I don't know if you have anything to add onto that, but just be honest and upfront. It will pay off. Like, you will not get, docked points.
Yeah, I will say that, to add to this, it's just the delivery. It's honestly just the delivery. No one likes to just find out at the end. Every time I see this, it's just being upfront, being honest, and just telling them, I think people don't like sneaky tactics. No one likes sneaky tactics. So just being open and honest, being upfront, and we see this a lot of times. So it's just having open communication. I think with anything, it's just having open, honest communication. So even the issue here is pricing. I think with pricing, it's just truly it's communication. The issue with pricing is communication around pricing.
Yeah. And I think we're seeing this across, like, everywhere, gas prices, grocery, property values. So this is like, just put yourselves in the consumer shoes. Like, they're just getting it from all angles. So just being as transparent as possible is going to go really far. Okay. I think we're ready to do the rankings. I want like a drum roll thing, but I don't think we have that. Okay, so I'm going to start off with, we're going to do the brands, the OEMs first. So we'll kick things off with non-luxury. All right, so we've got Subaru earned the highest reputation score in our non-luxury category. Mitsubishi actually improved. They jumped 2 spots to second place. And then coming in at number 3 is Toyota. They had really the highest visibility score, which is really contributing to their ranking this year. Kia is really interesting. They had the largest jump. They were ranked number 11 last year, and now they're number 6, which is super impressive. For luxury, we've got Lexus is the new number 1 luxury brand, besting Infiniti, who was number 1 last year. Other movers were Porsche, who moved 4 spots to number 4, which is great. Volvo and Jaguar also moved up this year. So congratulations to them. All right, dealer groups, Auto Nation! Congratulations once again. This is just monumental. I remember when I first started in the program, and I think the reputation score was like, just first starting like 300 or something really, really small. So just to see how far it's come over a decade of partnership has just been really great. Penske's number 2, Sonic Automotive, our friends at Larry H. Miller did great. Everyone's just they've hit over the 700 mark, which is great. Group 1 as well. Asbury, Lithia, and Berkshire are ranked, as you can see there. And then for the private groups, Hendrick Automotive is holding steady at number 1 in our private category. Wester Automotive Group, Napleton Automotive Group, Holman Automotive is on holding steady. Mile 1, Ken Graff. So congratulations to our private dealer groups. All right, we have a video. Now I gotta hold before we show the video. So we're showing 150 dealerships, and we were trying to figure out the best way to display all 150 dealerships without people being like, oh my gosh, I can't do this slide by slide. So instead we did the opposite. We made a super fast video. It's about 30 seconds. So just be prepared to watch the movie credits scroll on. So when you guys are ready to push the video, go ahead. Did you get all of that? Congratulations. So that was just a little teaser because our automotive report has all of the details. It is just chock full of really valuable information. You can take a look at all of the rankings. It's on our website now. You should be receiving an email that you'll be able to download a copy of the auto report. And if you would like a follow-up, or if you would like a deep dive analysis on your own reputation, I think we have an email address that I'll try and figure out. I'll work with the team to see if we can send it out. But Tom Barnes, who's with Reputation, will be happy to answer any questions that you have. And with that, thank you all so much for your time today. I think we're ready for some Q&A maybe.
Hey guys, that was amazing. Molly, Ashley, thank you. What an amazing presentation. So valuable. I'm just sort of absorbing all of it. I'm still stuck on slide 11 about the conversion rates between Google and your reputation score. It's pretty self-explanatory. And it also struck me how, the cyclical nature is part of the key to success. I mean, you guys basically presented a how-to on how to be successful and how to, improve your reputation score overall. So just such a valuable presentation. So we have some questions. I'm going to read them as they've been written. So here's a question for you ladies. Here's a question. How do you help encourage program adoption?
I can take that one. I kind of talked a bit on that. I think that comes with education. So I think once you get people understanding the importance of reputation, understanding that what drives reviews and what gets reputation up there, I think especially when it comes to, I'll say like for me, I look at reviews for almost everything. I was on Amazon 2 nights ago looking at a $12 shirt, and I read the reviews extensively for $12. So if you can imagine what people are looking for reviews when it comes to service or buying a car, so you can understand how important reputation is. So once you get people understanding the knowledge and importance of it there, adoption kind of comes behind it.
Yeah, and I would just add, there's so many different ways that you can do this. I know this is a common problem because there's a lot that goes into like how your program is set up. Are you centralized? Are you decentralized? But when you're just starting out, I feel like really showing celebrations and saying like, okay, here is our target. We want all of our dealers to hit a goal of 500 in the first year, and make it, really set those targets that are achievable, but there are also a little bit of a stretch, and then celebrate those and really make sure that post it in the staff lounge of like, hey, this is the reputation score that we're trying to hit. When we get it, we're going to have like a food truck, we're getting blah, blah, blah. We're going to have a big barbecue, whatever it is, just to get people excited about it. Like the more excited they are, the more I think that will really help them understand. And I think will also reflect in how they're creating a more meaningful experience in the dealership, which is at the end of the day, the main goal is we want to create, epic experiences that give people a reason to want to write a review, really kind of going above and beyond today is kind of the status quo. Great question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like there's no shortcuts. You genuinely have to have a great reputation. People have to love working there. People have to be recognized, rewarded. Customers will feel that. Customers will rate a great review. If they don't, set it and forget it, like you said, Ashley. So, just a really great how-to book, I think, for running a great business and getting a great score. Okay, here is another question. How do you get rid of negative reviews? Is there a way?
So this is funny because people would love it if you can just be like, delete, but you can't. There's no magic sauce to just deleting negative reviews. I'm sure everybody wants to just erase negative reviews, but that doesn't exist in the real world. That's why you need to actually work on fixing the issue. You can't just erase it or hide away the negative reviews. You have to actually understand what the issue is, working those negative reviews, call the customer, figure out what the issue is. Of course, respond to the negative reviews, but actually call them out, find out what the issue is, figure out how you can fix it and, optimize. Is there an issue happening at the dealership, at your store? Is there something that you can fix for the future? Just burying the negative reviews or trying to delete them isn't going to fix things for the future.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, here's a nice question. How can a company arrange a deep dive diagnostic analysis with reputation data science team? Molly, you mentioned the science team.
Yes. So super easy. I was just trying to see if we could get Tom's email address into the audience chat. But Tom Barnes will be our conduit to the data science team, and he will be able to connect you to getting that deep dive analysis started.
Right. Excellent. Okay. Another question for you ladies. This one is directed at Ashley. What are some daily actions that you can recommend to dealers to help improve their reputation score? Is there something daily, they should sort of work into their business practice?
So I kind of have two things. One is setting up those notifications. Reputation platform has notifications you can set up. I kind of set this up for our general managers, but you can also set it up for yourself where instantly you can be notified of bad reviews. So as soon as they come in, you are notified of bad reviews, so you can work them instantly. Secondly, there's an insights tab. So reputation is kind of doing the magic sauce for you of consolidating all your reviews for you and kind of letting you know what your strengths and weaknesses are for your specific location. So you can find out where you need to work on for yourself. And I think that's a great tool to use for your specific location and your store. Or if you have a group of stores, you can kind of figure out what you guys can work on. I think using that as a team, once a week in a meeting, daily meeting, kind of figure out what you guys need to tackle. I think those resources are there for you. And it's a perfect way to kind of start off strong and be like, hey, we need to focus on this.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, here's an easy one for you ladies. And I agree with this question, and it comes to us from one of our very good dealer groups. Where can we find the complete list of 150 dealerships on reputation.com?
Molly, I think you're muted. Thank you for telling me. It's not as obvious as it is on Zoom when you're muted.
No.
I think we all look to make sure, like, who's muted? Who's muted?
So you should be receiving an email following the webinar with a link to download the report. You can also access it on our reputation.com's website. So it should be available for you when you are ready to read it.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. I'm going to go look as well because it was sort of like movie credits and I wanted to see more. Okay. I think this is going to be the last question for us just based on time. So here's a question. Do you have the ability to look at reviews or keywords by importance of subjects for both good and bad?
Sort of. There's a word cloud. So that's almost similar. So it'll kind of give you your word cloud. So it'll look at it by customer service, pricing, and then you can get your word cloud will get you your deep dive. I know Reputation has some things in their roadmap to give a little bit more analysis, but I'll let the Reputation team give their things on that. But the word cloud will kind of give you your good and bad by colors, which I kind of love. So that's in the Insights tab. So it can give you your colors, such as when you go into service and you can see oil change is real big and red, and you're like, oh, there's not a lot of good experiences in oil change right now in reviews. So it does give you a lot of insights like that, where you can take some deep dives into that. So it does give you a little rankings there.
Yeah, no, for sure. And just to kind of add on to Ashley's point, like the Insights is absolutely critical in the Reputation platform, because we can just pull all your reviews together, but actually being able to understand in an aggregate what's happening to help you identify what those trends are, what operationally do we need to change, is something that we invest a lot of time and resources into making it as easy as possible so you can quickly make decisions about what you need to do next. So whether it's for, Reputation score, where not only will it tell you your score, where you're doing really well in terms of how's your review volume, how's your review distribution, what's your social engagement look like, but also where are you falling short in some of the review sentiment that's coming back. So it's really progressed so far from when I was on the customer side and on the dealership side to where it is now. So it's something that we constantly are changing and listening to our current customers' feedback on what would make it easier, and what kind of reporting do you need? Like, how can we try and make it help you do your job so that you don't have to really worry about kind of the back end side. So we try and make it as easy as possible for you to know where you're winning and have some gaps.
Well, that's great information. Okay, ladies, Molly, Ashley, I think that pretty much brings us to the end of this webinar. And I first would want to thank today's audience for these great questions. And, if you asked a question that we didn't get a chance to answer, our friends at Reputation are going to follow up by email, because there are some questions like that. If you learned something from this session, I know I did, please tell your peers about it. The recording is going to be available in about an hour, and you'll find it on autonews.com/webinars. When the webinar ends, a survey is going to pop up on your screen. We genuinely appreciate your feedback, as it helps us to create future webinars that are even more beneficial to you. This was super beneficial. Thank you again, Molly. Thank you, Ashley, and Reputation for bringing us this amazing presentation, and to all of you guys for joining us. On behalf of everyone at Automotive News, have a great rest of your day.